Mr. Burke, it's a great honor for us to have you back here. How have things changed in the world, in your view, from one Bucharest Forum to the next? What are the things that are significant enough that are driving the agenda in your view?
Without a doubt, the biggest change in the world from the Bucharest Forum last year to the Forum this year were just wondering before about what President Trump would do. It was still very fresh, his presidency, so would what he said on the campaign trail actually come true? And a lot of people, I think, doubted that what he had said he would do. I think this year we've seen that he has done it, contrary to what a lot of people believe about politicians. They've done studies, and American presidents actually tend to follow through on most of their campaign promises, and President Trump has shown exactly that. Things that he talked about when it came to getting tough on China, he's done it. In his view, this is the way to do it. Others may disagree, but now we're living in a world where these tariffs are real. And so I think a lot of the concern, a lot of the question that people had about what would this new world look like has actually come true. And so now people are figuring out, how do we adjust? How do we adjust to President Trump? How do we get in favor with President Trump? Do we have to go in other routes? I think now that's what people are thinking about, is what's the right reaction given the environment that he's changed.
And given that, and especially given new trends in technology, since you've just wrapped up a really spectacular panel on this, what would you say is your outlook on things going on currently in the world, the West, and Europe in particular?
Well, one of the panelists that we spoke to here at the Bucharest Forum made a fascinating point. This is a Romanian engineer who now lives in the United States, and he said that the tax cuts have been great for technology. So I think you have to give President Trump credit where it's due, and I know he's not the only one. I know that leaders like Tim Cook, the president of Apple, the CEO of Apple, has talked about how the tax cuts have been beneficial. So I think that's something that we have to look at. What are the right conditions for business? But the themes that you hear over and over again that I think Romania and Europe need to embrace are these themes of risk, that in the United States, Silicon Valley, where tech has become so dominant, that taking risk, embracing risk, and that also means respecting people when they fail, is incredibly important, and that there needs to be more government investment. Now, it gets tricky then, because a lot of people fear government investment, but if you hear what the people, the experts are talking about here, they talk about a place where government is getting involved via grants. Different from maybe the choosing the winners and losers, there's a thin line, but they're talking about government stepping up their investment in universities, grants, and facilitating the environment so that venture capitalists can come in, so that there can be a mix, a blend of funding, not just funding from the government, them taking on all the risks. So these are the core fundamentals we hear in terms of technology, so that more places can emulate Silicon Valley and have this success and pass that along to their citizens in the form of salary and opportunities.
And what would you say then is the place for discussion platforms like the Bucharest Forum in this changing environment?
I think that increasingly it's going to have to be about technology, because that's where the economy is moving. So the Bucharest Forum is great because they bring in a diversity of opinion, but I think the key is they bring in a lot of successful people, people who are leaders in their industry. And if you listen to those people, those are the people who know what to do. They've been on the ground and they've done it. So I think it's incredibly important to listen to those people. Now, people might have concerns, citizens might have concerns, ethicists might have concerns, but it's important to listen to those folks, and maybe we can take their models and shape them differently, put in the regulation that's necessary. Now, they would argue we need to limit the regulation, but they don't say completely. So I think it's key to listen to these very successful people that, frankly, you can only find in the Bucharest Forum. I mean, it's very rare to have the mix of people that we have here from east to west. There are a lot of times you go to big American functions or big European functions, might have a lot of Brits or might have a lot of Americans, but here you're getting a whole wide array of opinions and perspectives from people who are from this region, who have spent time in this region, but have gone to other places, to give us an idea of what values can be brought to a place like Romania.
It's great that you mentioned this. I think it leads us to a great last question. Given that Aspen has the mission to gather all of these spectacular individuals into what is now a very diverse community, what would be your message for 2018 to the Aspen community in Romania?
I think without a doubt is listen to what's coming out from here, not just to have these discussions, but hopefully to act on it. You want me to keep on going? Just have a little bit of sound, but I think act on it. A lot of times at these conferences, there can be brilliant ideas, but if they don't take action, it doesn't mean anything. And the types of advice that we're hearing are about things that are happening incredibly quickly, especially when it comes to technology. So I think listen to what's being said here. Don't listen to it blindly. Take the advice, make it what works for Romania. Within the confines of what works for each country is always going to be different, but really try and act on what they're saying, because again, a lot of what we've heard at this Bucharest Forum are Romanians who've lived abroad and are trying to bring the best of what they've seen in Silicon Valley and bring it here because they want to see that type of success for their home country.
Sam Burke, thank you so much.